Download the app today.
It is crime time here on Closing Arguments. Let's bring in tonight's guests. Joining me, former police officer Joe Ested. Joe is also a former sheriff's deputy and police investigator. He served in Afghanistan as a police advisor and is the author of the book Police Brutality Matters and the host of the Police Brutality Matters show on YouTube. Also with us, jumping in here kind of quick, former senior special agent with the Drug Enforcement Administration and the founder and CEO of the Global Security Group, David Katz. David was an instructor at the DEA FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, where he taught firearms and tactics to thousands of federal agents, state and local police officers, SWAT teams, and specialized military units. He's a corporate security expert and is particularly well known for his active shooter prevention and response programs. Also is the author of the Executive's Guide to Personal Security. Joe and David, great to see you both tonight. We're going to begin in San Diego, California, San Diego County Sheriff's Office, where an eviction escalates into violence. Let's watch.
Hi.
What is it?
Are you Yanli?
Yes.
Okay, here's a notice to evict. Okay?
What?
It's your notice for. Put the knife down right now, or I'm gonna. Put your knife down. Put the knife down. Put the knife down right now. Put the knife down right now.
How do I know you are not an intruder?
$15 out of 5, one at gunpoint. Code cover. Put the gun down, ma'am. I'm gonna shoot you. Put the gun down. Put the gun down, or I will shoot you. 15 Adam 5, code cover. One at gunpoint with a knife. Put the gun down right now. Put the gun down right now. Now, drop the knife.
I'm holding a knife.
Drop the knife, ma'am.
You're
You will get shot. If you come at me with that knife, I will shoot you.
I'm not afraid.
Do you understand that?
I'm not coming.
Okay, I will shoot you. You understand? Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Put the knife down.
How did you get into my building?
I walked in. Put down the knife right now. Put down the knife right now. Ma'am, you will be shot. Do you understand that? Put down the gun or you will be shot. Ma'am, shh, drop the knife. Don't. Just drop the knife. Drop the knife, please. Don't make me do this.
No, I'm not dropping.
Drop the knife now. I'm not a fake police officer. Drop the knife. Drop the 15 out of 5. She's barricaded in 503.
Hey, this is the Sheriff's Department with the San Diego Police Department. We're both here. I need you to put the knife down and open the door. We're not intruders, we're the police.
Dark. Show me your hands. Where you at? Where you at? Sheriff Department. Put your hands. Come here. Get down. Get down.
I got stabbed.
All right, let's talk about this. First of all, how dangerous are these eviction notice situations? I mean, how often do they turn deadly, and how were things handled here? Joe Ested, I'll start with you.
Dave, good to see you. Vinny,
Joe.
these things can go from 0 to 100 instantly. And you know, you're serving a eviction notice. A lot of emotions are at stake, and people's emotions are high, so it can go real bad real fast. His initial approach, it was kind of lackadaisy. Once he realized that the female, she had a knife, all of a sudden he pulled his gun. I would like to see him get a little bit more distance between him and the subject. You're told to create that distance to buy you more time. He was still close. He started the normal commands, being real aggressive. Then he realized he was dealing with somebody that wasn't real stable in the mind, so he started to bring his tone down, which I applaud that, because we don't see that a lot. He notified the assisting units. Once the assisting units arrived, because she closed the door, went back into the apartment. This is where it went bad for me. Everybody that responded, everybody went inside this particular residence. You lead with your beanbag guy. Like, I understand you want to use least lethal force as much as you can to save a life, but this individual, this female, was posing a danger, a huge danger. She had a butcher knife. So you always want to match the threat level to what you're dealing with at the time. You're dealing with a person with a large knife. You don't want to match it with a beanbag. And then they lead with the beanbag. The officer with the beanbag actually goes forward as he's shooting the beanbag at the subject. Beanbag versus knife. Knife's going to win all the time, every time. So you had multiple officers confined in this one little spot. The distance was very close, because I definitely wouldn't use a beanbag with this type of scenario. Then when she started to come out, all the officers are trying to pile out to get out of the apartment. Everybody's trying to get out of the way of getting stabbed. And she was able to actually stab an officer. So the tactics was horrible on this whole incident. I give these guys a definite F. I'm glad the officer was able to actually, survive this encounter, but this injury could have been prevented on the officers.
David Katz, I saw you nodding your head along there for most of this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this was a disaster from the inception. The initial encounter was very, very bad, but I want to kind of focus in when they all go into the apartment. I counted 9, and then you had the K-9 officer in that tiny little apartment. So I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks back, we covered a story where the police ended up shooting someone with a knife, but prior to that, they attempted to use less than lethal. And what the officer in that case did, he said, okay, you've got the 40 millimeter. You stand here. I'm lethal force. I'm going to stand here. This is our route. If we have to back up, this is where we're going to retreat to. If he moves forward, you can take the shot. If he moves past this point, I will engage. You saw none of this. There was no communication. And Joe makes a great point. When you're leading, if you look at one point, you had the officer providing cover with the handgun. Then you had the officer with the beanbag. For whatever reason, the officer with the beanbag decides to advance down the hallway. Now there's no lethal cover. So she comes out, and by the way, he's firing rounds, missing her apparently because she has no reaction, and she comes out. Then the 9 people all try to hurry back out of the apartment. They fall over each other. When lethal force becomes necessary, in other words, after she stabs one officer and is leaning over the officer to continue the attack, then they open up. So the officers who are engaging her with lethal force are firing at her with their coworkers on the ground within the line of fire. Poor communication, poor tactics, and that is not how you use less than lethal force. It's an alternative that you try to employ, but in this case, absolutely poorly done.
Again, great insight and perspective. A lot of things I wasn't even thinking about. Joe Ested, David Katz staying with us. When we come back, more crime time. We've got an arson suspect attacking a firefighter at the scene of this alleged arson. That is next.
Newsy Tonight is changing the conversation.
Incredible footage coming in live right now.
Away from opinions and arguments.
Tell our viewers how people there are preparing.
Welcome back to our Crime Time segment. Still with us, Joe Ested and David Katz. Our next story comes to us from the Flagler County Sheriff's Office down in Florida. An arson suspect attacks a firefighter.
Started a fire in the house.
Okay.
It's burning down. My house is burning down.
Okay, I need everybody out.
Everybody but the dog.
Hey, yeah, dude, what's in your house? They're right there. That's the wrong answer, sir. Down to the ground, down to the ground. Hands down back. He takes his cane, he's acting like a gun with it. Fire comes around the corner and he almost hits, I forget which one, he almost hits basically a couple fire department guys, so I step in. When he sees me, he just rears back.
Kind of unbelievable here. We have emergency responders getting attacked, but I guess if you're a suspected arsonist, you're going to get mad at the guys who are putting out the fire. Joe Ested, David Katz back with us. David, your thoughts about this quick little incident? You got to be ready at any moment.
Yeah, well, we're actually putting together an active shooter training program for firefighters, because we've had situations recently where firefighters have been fired on and even, unfortunately fatally. This case, I think, is a little different. That he seemed, my first read of that guy is it was a mental aided case. He might have started the fire, but he didn't seem coherent. He could have been what's called an emotionally disturbed person. He could have been a diabetic with a altered mental state. So this didn't seem like an arsonist trying to prevent the firefighters from responding to the fire. It seemed like he's just in the industry he's called a wacko.
There you go. All right, Joe Ested, let's do this. And David Katz, I've got some video from the Benton County Sheriff's Office. It's an amazing rescue. As we watch this, interested in your thoughts, Joe. Here they are approaching a car on fire.
The first thing you want to do is try to see if you can check for victims. Is anybody in that fire? If anybody's not in the fire, in that vehicle, if anybody's in that vehicle, you're trying to get them out as quickly as possible. As we said time and time again in the past, officers don't receive a lot of fire training, if any. So when you see officers performing like this is straight up instant and common sense. So try to save a life as quick as possible is what you see here, and the officers did a really good job doing that.
Hey, David Katz, I'm looking at those flames underneath the car. That would scare me to death that the whole thing's just going to go up.
Well, the car, it's not like the movies where the car explodes, but a car can become fully involved very, very quickly. I remember when I was working in the task force on Long Island, we had a Suffolk County detective, Brian Laskowski. He just was driving home, I think, one night, car on fire, and he tried to pull the guy out. He burned his hands severely. It's just, Joe is exactly right. Law enforcement officers are not given adequate training in that, but they do it anyway.
Joe Ested, this is the other part, right? That we see so many different facets of what you're doing, but just in these last two stories, and one, emergency responders going to a fire, get attacked by the accused arsonist, and here you are going to another fire and literally saving a life as we watch it.
Yeah, it's always different. So it can go from, just like you described, saving to now actually being attacked. So the dynamics of the job, that's why we prepare, that's why we train, that's why we're always trying to stay ahead of the curve when we're dealing with these incidents.
And David Katz, I'll give you the final word tonight. And we try to show the vast array. We show sometimes police officers not doing the right thing. We show them literally saving lives. Do you think police and law enforcement does enough themselves to let the public know what they're doing day in and day out? You have about 15 seconds.
15 seconds?
Yeah.
They don't, because that's not what they're seeking to do. But I think at this point in history, I think that would be a nice thing for a change.
Yeah, I think they all get some good PR, because you guys are doing it, guys and men and women are doing it day in and day out, just like Joe Ested and David Katz are doing for us. Thank you both so much. Great to see you. We'll see you again real soon. When we come back, folks, I need your help once again. Don't go away.